I noticed a lot of you guys were not doing the logic puzzles, and I really want you to do those. It's good for your math skills, and it's also just good for problem solving skills. And this is definitely going to help you on when you get older. If you're good at these things, then like the SAT, ACT, those are going to be super easy for y'all. So let's look at this. All right, so it has some clues up here, and then down here is our chart to figure out who is who, or which leprechaun is what height. One thing that we do need to know is that, of course, a leprechaun can only be one height, and also how these work. The height is only used once, so therefore, like gold and clover, they can't be the same height. The heights are only used once. All right, so looking up here, we have our clues. Brendan is taller than Magic. Clover is 18 inches shorter than Gold. Patty is 6 inches taller than Cleary. And Rainbow is half the height of Clover. So a few things that I noticed up here is that, first of all, they're being compared with inches, these two middle ones, and that's the only measurement that I see. So the first thing that I did is I came down here and I converted all of my measurements that were not already inches. I converted them into inches. So therefore, like this is 2.5 feet. That kind of looks like 25 feet, but it's actually 2.5 feet. If you zoomed in, you'd be able to see that. So 2.5 times 12 is 30. Half a yard is 18 inches. So therefore, we did all of those. So now we have them all in inches. And now I don't think you guys have a problem with that. You guys are really good at converting. So I'm going to concentrate more on just how to do the logic puzzle. All right, so first one is Brendan is taller than Magic. This one doesn't tell us a whole lot except for the fact that we know that Brendan obviously cannot be the shortest leprechaun. So I'm going to look up here, find the shortest leprechaun. Shortest one is 6 inches. So that cannot be Brendan because we know he's taller than Magic. So he cannot be the shortest one here. And we also know that Magic is shorter than Brendan, right? So that means that Magic cannot be the tallest leprechaun. And the tallest leprechaun is 48 inches. So that cannot be Magic. So I'm going to put an X over the ones that I am certain that they cannot be. Okay? All right, so now let's go to the next one. It says Clover is 18 inches shorter than Gold. So what I'm doing is I'm going to look through here and see if I can find which of these would be 18 inches shorter than something else. So we have 30 inches here, and I'm thinking, well, 18 inches plus 18 is not 30, so that can't be it. It's certainly more than 6 inches different, or 6, that would be more than 18 inches. That would not work. Let's see, 30 and 16. No, not quite. 30 and 12 actually works. So, because I know that 18 plus 12 equals 30. So that would be 18 inches different. So let's see. Clover is 18 inches shorter than Gold. So we know we're working with Clover and Gold. Gold would be the tallest one. So that would mean that this is probably Gold. Since I'm not positive yet, I'm going to put an M here for maybe. And then Clover is 18 Gold. So that would mean that would be 12 inches over here. So that would be an M for Clover. And then what I'm going to do is just look to see, is it possible that any of these other ones are 18 inches apart? We have 48 and 30. Yes, that is 18 inches. So that could be, so I'm going to put an M since 48 minus 30 is also 18 inches. I'm going to put that as my maybes as well. So again, that would mean that Gold is taller, right? So Gold could possibly be 48, and Clover could possibly be 30. All right, so then let's keep going because there's none other up here that are 18 inches apart. So it's just 30 and 12 and then 48 and 30. All right, so let's see. We have Patty is 6 inches taller than Cleary. So now we're looking for a difference of 6 inches. Okay, well, I know that, let's see, we have 6 inches and 12 inches. So those are possibilities. So Patty is 6 inches taller than Cleary. Patty would be 6 inches. So this is a maybe for Patty. And then Cleary is a maybe for 6. That's a maybe. Okay. All right. Are there any other that are 6 inches apart? Okay, so 24 and 18 are also 6 inches apart. So I know that Patty, because Patty would be taller one, so Patty could possibly be the 24 inches. And then Cleary could be 6 inches shorter than that. So Cleary could possibly be that. Okay, could possibly be 18 inches. All right. So now let's see if some of these help us figure out the other ones. All right, so Rainbow is half the height of Clover. All right, so we're going to look at Clover. We have 2 maybes for Clover. Well, half of 30 inches is 15. Well, that's not here, right? So we don't have a leprechaun that's 15 inches, so that can't be, let's see, who did we say? Clover, right? Can't be Clover, because Clover would have to be double the height of someone. So that means that Clover has to be 12 inches, right? And because half of 12 is 6, and that one is here. So we know that Clover is 12 inches. Well, if we know that Clover is 12 inches, Patty cannot be 12 inches. So we have to put an X on Patty. In fact, all of these are now eliminated. So I know that we have found for certain which leprechaun is 12 inches so far. All right. So none of these other ones can be 12 inches. All right. But we know that, let's see, Rainbow is half the height of Clover. So if Clover is 12 inches, that means Rainbow has to be 6 inches. So this is the only one that works for that. So I know Rainbow has to be 6 inches. So that means that all of these cannot be, all these leprechauns cannot be 6 inches tall. So I can put an X on all of these. So that means that Cleary cannot be 6 inches tall. And we said that Cleary might also be 18 inches tall. So that must mean that Cleary is 18 inches tall. So let's go back and find out which ones are talking about Cleary and see if we can figure out another leprechaun from there. Because if Cleary is 18 inches, then we can X out all of these heights, because these leprechauns can no longer be 18 inches tall. All right, so up here it says Cleary, so that Patty is 6 inches taller than Cleary. Well, if we know Cleary is 18 inches tall, then that must mean that Patty has to be the 24 inches tall, right? Because 18 plus 6 is 24. So that gives us this one. So once we got that first leprechaun figured out for definite, then it helps us figure out all the rest of them. Oops. There we go. All right, so now let's look what we have left. We have maybe gold was 30 inches, or maybe gold was 48 inches. So let's look back to see gold up here. So clover is 18 inches shorter than gold. Well, we know that clover was actually 12 inches. So now we know that 12 plus 18 equals 30. So that means gold has to be 30 inches tall. So we know that one is gold. So that means that this one cannot be gold. Oops, that should be an X. All right, so now let's see. We have figured out, and that means that since there's an O here, all of these are X's because Brendan, oops, sorry, because none of these can be 30 inches. Sorry, I don't know why I just said the word Brendan. Next thought, I guess. All right, so that leaves us, we do not know. We know how tall gold is. We know how tall Patty is. We know how tall clover, rainbow. We do not know how tall magic is. And we don't know how tall Brendan is. We do know how tall Cleary is. Okay, so I have 2 leprechauns left, and I also have 2 heights left. So I have 16 inches left and 1 yard left. Well, let's look back up here. It says Brendan is taller than magic. So, well, that would mean that Brendan would have to be the 48 inches, right? And that magic would have to be the 16 inches. Okay, so really I'm done now. The X's are not that important to have, so I don't have to fill in with the X's, but they just help me figure out which ones it cannot be, so it helps me eliminate answers. So you don't have to have your final full with X's. In fact, the only letters I have to have are the O's. Obviously, M's are maybe, so I can't have any M's in my final answer. But that is how you would have figured out the leprechaun heights. So you can see that it is a process of elimination, and you have to go back and forth up to these clues to help you figure it out. All right, so hopefully that helps, and I would like to see all of you participating in the Fun in the Sun logic puzzle. Okay, these are very important for advanced learners to be able to think like this. It's going to help you in math, and it's also going to help you in just general problem solving. It'll make you a better problem solver as an adult. So get to work. Love you guys.